My roommate's always getting really mad at me because she'll say like, hello, and I'll be like, oh, you're quoting To All the Boys I've Loved Before. It's the original text. Hey, I'm Jane.
I'm Taylor.
Welcome to All the Flicks I've Loved Before.
This week we're talking about
To All the Boys I've Loved Before,
where we recap all the boys Laurie has loved before, and Peter Kavinsky.
I feel like there are a lot of people in this world. Men who are too insecure in their masculinity, or adults who haven't quite figured out the excitement of the teen rom-com renaissance, who haven't seen the movie, is what I'm saying. To the people who haven't seen the movie, they hear a lot of mostly teenage girls, and us a lot, really standing this one film, and they don't quite understand why. Well, we're here to tell you why, because it's a really good movie.
It's not just hot people, even though there are hot people falling in love. Okay, here we go. Recap time!
To All the Boys I've Loved Before is a film about Laura Jean Covey, a very relatable high school girl. She's 16, she's introvert, she's an INFP, maybe an INFJ, I think INFP. She's really experiences emotions really strongly, and she's had 5 crushes in her life, and she's written all of the crushes love letters. And twist, the letters get sent. Even though she wrote them years ago, they get sent as if they were written today. So all of a sudden, 5 boys think that she has a huge crush on them. One of them being her older sister's ex-boyfriend. The other being a cute boy she goes to school with.
Is that Peter Kavinsky?
Laura Jean never wants her older sister to find out that she had a crush on her older sister's ex-boyfriend, so she needs a way to get out of that. And Peter Kavinsky approaches her and tells her that he also is looking for a way to make his ex-girlfriend jealous. So in order to solve both of those situations, the two of them start a fake relationship. And then, throughout the film, Peter Kavinsky is such a gentleman. He says, whoa, 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 hey, hey, hey.
Whoa, 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 hey, hey,
whoa,
hey,
whoa,
whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Their relationship is really good. He really listens to her. He likes her for really great reasons we'll get into. Feelings are developed and romance ensues, and there's twists and turns and ups and downs, and your heart goes out for them.
They get together.
It's really cute.
So today we're going to be talking about how To All the Boys I've Loved Before updates a lot of the old tropes of romantic comedies.
While there were a couple moments throughout the film where I went like, heck yeah, I love that they just did that, it's really more the case that I was watching this film and I really enjoyed it, and by the end of the film I realized like, oh, this movie was a really good movie and successful movie, and was able to do so without including a bunch of sexist bullshit.
They were just good people. There were good people in this film.
Shocking new thing. Good people.
We got lead woman who is Asian, written by an Asian woman. I believe the film was directed by a woman.
Passes the Bechdel
test. There are so many good things about this movie, and you don't even realize it.
They sneak them in there. Also, the characters are just so real. Like, I know a million Josh Sandersons. I know the like mopey white boy who like is so deep and thinks he's so superior because he's into like literature. And I feel like both of us, when we were watching the movie, felt like we were Laura Jean. Just because the way she behaves is so relatable.
All of the characters are pretty are very well-rounded, well-developed characters, which you don't see in most old rom-coms.
All of Laura Jean's, like, her messy room tendencies and the way she behaves around boys, it was just so relatable. Like, she exists. Peter Kavinsky, I don't know if he exists,
no.
but I want him to.
Showing teen girls that this is the relationship that they should look for, rather than a lot of the old movies, aka John Hughes. I know they reference 16 Candles in the movie, but we're not going to talk about 16 Candles because it's bad. So this doesn't do that. It's great.
Honestly, I've never had anything that made me be like, oh, the poor jock, but like, have we been unfair to jocks for years?
I don't don't know if I would say that. I just feel like we've very much favored the nerdy boy. So we've been like, oh, the jock sucks, so we're gonna go for the nerdy boy. But the nerdy boys turn into incels. So
we're not saying that Josh is an incel.
we're not saying that Josh is an incel, but we are definitely saying that he's not the type of boy to date in this film. It is Peter.
Josh is just so... And this isn't a problem with the movie, it's just a problem with that type of boy. He's so like, but Laura Jean, you're so innocent. Why are you dating a boy that's not me?
He's very possessive, but she acknowledges that. Love triangle doesn't exist because she says no. I got a 7.4 on IMDb. No.
Typically, when you have like a sad white boy who really like considers himself intellectually superior, he's the love interest. Like the main character always falls for that. But in this movie, she calls him on being a snob. And she doesn't go for that. She goes for the guy who is like nice to her and sweet to her the whole movie instead of being possessive and annoying.
Yeah, so there's this one scene where Josh comes to her house and after he gets the letter and he's like, why are you with Kavinsky? And she's like, because I want to be. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
And then she tells him to go away because at this point, I think she's already like falling in love with Peter, but we don't know that yet.
We always are. Falling in love with Peter Kavinsky, that is. I texted you during the movie the first time I was watching it when they first started like kind of flirting a little bit. And the thing is, I am conditioned in my life to not trust handsome white men. I texted you like, I want her to be with Peter Kavinsky. I want this for her. But I don't trust it. I don't trust it yet. But we can trust him.
So, next trope is two women fighting over a man, which does not happen in this movie. Yes, Laurie Jean is technically in love with Josh. We find that at the very beginning. However, she says that she will never go after Josh because she would never do that to her sister, and remains true. Margot goes off to college. She breaks up with Josh because she doesn't want to go to college with a boyfriend, and instead of Laurie Jean seeing that as a moment for her to like get together with Josh or to try to like flirt with Josh, she doesn't. She has like a whole monologue about how she would never do that to her sister and doesn't want to fight over him.
In many a rom-com before, we've seen the trope of the fake relationship. 10 Things I Hate About You. It happens in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. It happens in She's All of That. But in this movie, there is a fake relationship in which both parties are completely aware and consenting to the situation. No one's being manipulated or taken advantage of. They're all aware of it. What a progressive fake relationship. Ooh, while you were sleeping. That's also a fake relationship. The guy's literally in a coma, has no idea that this girl's doing it to him.
We even have like a set of rules, and Laurie Jean's the one who starts the set of rules, and she says no kissing.
She's also like, I don't want you to touch me non-consensually, and he's like, yeah, I understand. And they agree on ways that he can touch her consensually. Something you should do in a relationship, fake or not. Also a thing that this movie does that's really cute is he like sends her love letters, but the love letters are all like really sweet, good compliments. Like, I liked your presentation in lit class. You're really smart. They really establish a friendship first. It's really nice to see their relationship actually grow and not do it in like montage.
We actually see them building a relationship and having specific moments where they find things in common about each other, and we learn about them. When he's like, oh, your mom died, and she learns that his dad left when he was young, and so they bond over that. They share that emotional
They talk to each
complexity.
other about it, and they find that they have a person that they can talk to about those things, and they're really comfortable with each other. There's a really great scene when they're in the diner together where he's complimenting her on how she's really good at standing up to the like mean girl in the school, and he compliments her style, and they talk about how their various family situations are similar but different, but they can kind of empathize. They have another really great conversation in his kitchen after she's gone over to his house for dinner. They just have so many good conversations.
My favorite part of the whole movie. Oh, there are two diner scenes and they're both perfect. Sorry. Perfect. Then I go to the diner, and first they're sitting next to each other. And there's one point where he starts texting Jen. She goes to the other side of the table. We're not really sure why, but definitely the director told her to go over there. Anyways, so then she's like judging him because he's still texting Jen and because he still calls his ex-girlfriend.
She calls him on his bullshit in this movie.
And then he's like, well, you've never had a boyfriend. She's like, well, you've only had one girlfriend and you're obsessed with her. And then she sits down. And I love this. This is great directing. That they were sitting next to each other, and now the relationship has changed because she goes to the other side of the table and they sit across from each other. Great directing. She moves to the other side of the table, and then he's like, well, you've never had a boyfriend. And then he asks her, why haven't you dated anyone before? And then she says, well, I don't think anyone's really like that. And he was like, bullshit, someone asked you to homecoming last year.
I think that's silly. He'd be like, what do you mean no one's ever liked you? One person asked you out once.
Yeah, which is, anyways, so then she's like, well, it's scary. And I think this is the first time we've ever seen a female protagonist who was like insecure about dating, which I think is a very big thing in people who have social anxieties or who are introverted. And I've never seen that on a screen before because that's a big thing for a woman to admit, because you see all these old rom-coms that are like, oh, if the man even says anything remotely nice, she's like, wow, I'm in love with you, let's get married. Just like that. But she like takes her time and she's afraid of falling in love with him for real. Because all of the stuff in her head, it's all fantasies. But then she actually falls in love with Peter. And it's just, there's something about that that's just so much more pure. Like you see her also fighting with herself to fall in love. Oh, it's just so good.
He's also so understanding about that too. When she's like, yeah, it's scary. He's like, oh, and he listens and he like asks her more questions about it, and they have a real discussion. He doesn't just like blow her off about it.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this movie different. Also, is that it's a rom-com for women, written by women who understand what it's like to be a woman.
You know what, men? You could enjoy it too if you're secure with yourself.
What I'm saying is this film updates itself to be relevant to the generation that it is appealing to and to its target audience, which is not the male gaze, which is actual teenage girls who are afraid of things. Yeah, there's just something very humanizing about it. It doesn't treat the woman as if she's like something to be won. We're coming to a point in rom-coms where we are actually acknowledging all of the people who fall in love in the world, which are, surprise, not just straight white people.
Also, this movie addresses the double standard of like the reaction when people have sex, because like when everyone thinks that Peter Kaminsky and Laura Jean have sex, Peter is applauded and Laura Jean is like victimized for it, and someone films it and puts it on the internet and everyone calls her a slut and everyone like applauds him, and they're trying to take the video down and Laura Jean says like it's always worse for the guy, and they discuss it and they talk about that, and I was like, yeah! And when I was watching it, I was just so proud of this movie for acknowledging that, because it's a big problem in our society that really bugs me.
And he's also very respectful of her.
Yeah, he doesn't pressure her in any way.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that it wasn't the quarterback. I think that's a stereotype that
no, it was the lax bro, which
Okay, listen though, but in most movies, it is a trope that the nerdy girl's like, okay, so Cinderella story. The nerdy girl's in love with the quarterback of the football team, which that's boring. Thank you for giving us more sports representation.
Don't worry, we'll go back to football for Theo Burgess is a loser.
We really needed to hear this perspective of the lax bros. What I wanted to talk about was the fact that he falls in love with her first, which we never see in movies. It's always in a creepy, possessive kind of way, if it ever happens. Like, I'm thinking she's the man. Orsino's like in love with Olivia, but in a like possessive, but only in like an appearance sort of way. Like he's in love with her. He's like obsessed with Olivia, but only because she's pretty, and he doesn't know anything about her. So that's the basis of his like longing and being in love with her first. But in To All the Boys I Loved Before, he is legitimately in love with her. I think he has a crush on her when they first start their whole fake relationship thing because he's like, she's cute. Because she is.
Yeah.
She is cute. We never get any moment where Jen's like, you're ugly. No one's like, you're ugly because she's not. She's beautiful. Thank God we have some representation for pretty nerds.
The movie though ends with her saying, I really like you, and him saying, I love you. And she is happy with that, but she doesn't say it back.
But the moment that you really see it is when they're in the diner, same conversation we had before, the diner scene, where Good Direction, she's sitting across from him. And she's sitting across from him, and they're talking about how she's never dated anyone before, and he's like, well, you don't seem to have any problem talking to me or being around me. And she's like, well, because this is fake. And then his face goes sad. She's like, oh, what's wrong? And he's like, oh, nothing. Like, it's fine. And then he gets up and puts his jacket on and they leave. But he is really hurt by that. And you see, like, all of the happiness drown out of his face because he loves her. Like, you can watch him, like, in that scene, falling in love with her. That's why she goes to the other side of the table. You just know it. Good Direction, Susan Johnson, once again. They go on the ski trip, and he wants her to sit on the bus with him, and
he gives her snacks!
Doesn't, and he's very upset about it. And he spends
her snacks!
He spends the whole ski trip being pouty little boy because she didn't sit with him on the bus. It's not in like a possessive way. He just was like really sad because he bought her snacks from the Korean grocery store and he really wanted her to sit with him. And then she didn't because she was afraid of intimacy. We see that scene where she's in the hotel room with Lucas and she's like, well, I think I'm falling in love with him, but I don't think he feels the same way. And Lucas is like, you're kidding me, right? You're sitting in here with your gay friend wearing face masks. He's in the hot tub, shirtless. And she's like, what? So she goes outside to the hot tub. And then he's there and then they
bashful splash.
They smooch.
Let's stop talking about the hot tub.
Do we have any final thoughts?
I think this was a real great rom of the com variety.
I love you. I like you.
And not in a
fake way.
We like this movie.
Whoa, wait.